Hey. I figure anybody that's watched any of the stuff that I've put up, um, that I've certainly shared, is what I learned, right? What I learned through experience. And then what I do is I share what I've learned through experience. So at 4 years of age, I'm an eternal being. I'm eternal unconditional love that's on fire to do that. That's called a baseline. That's called a baseline identity. I know what I am and I know what I'm not, which means I know the other, which isn't what I am, because I am what love is. Now you know the difference between what love is and what love isn't. That's as simple as it gets. Okay? So that means I'm not at war with myself, which means I'm not at war with my creator that lives in my heart. That's also simple as it gets. Okay? And because I realize that if I go to war in my mirror, I'm going to war against my own creator. Okay? And I experience an eternal blessing. I've experienced an eternal unconditional love. Why would I ever want to go to war against something that loves me? Forever. So if I'm experiencing forever love, then it means I have a forever love relationship with eternity, from which I came and was born into creation, with a soul, an oversoul as a single pole. So it's one of the reasons why monatomic gold, rainbow colors, right? When I was sharing with you the example of Dr. Greer, and I've covered this truth on many occasions, right? And so because I'm so hypersensitive, right? I'm always very careful about what to communicate, what not to communicate, and why I communicate, when I communicate, what I communicate, and what I don't communicate, why I don't communicate it at the moment I don't communicate it. That would be security protocols. That's right. That's the highest level of intelligence, because that's eternal unconditional love, which is a creation engine that's on fire, that acknowledges you're in a contaminated zone, bugs in the system, right? So I know that through my own experiences. Just the things that pop up on my skin, I become aware of that I'm not supposed to experience. That's a bug in the system, okay? Which is a broken motherboard. So a broken motherboard is a broken arrow as a result of what? AI wargamers. Okay. It's one of the reasons why, bless your heart, Aurora, she was one of the few that I met here. Because there's one thing that I know. Okay? Because I've experienced it. A powerful spirit can fall. Okay? Just like this motherboard did, just like Gaia did. Okay? Look what happened to her. Look what they did to her, trying to drive her mad. Drive her insane. Right? So you can think of it on an interdimensional level, or a transdimensional level, or an awareness level, the same way that I'm aware that something's feeding on my energy that's in my gut, my immune system. And now you can scale it up to a living organism on a planetary level that is infested with parasites. Okay, mud fossils sort of brought that out, right? A couple of his most recent videos were very informative, right? He gives you the map, and map that you see is called a character map. The letter C is 3, right? But now we're into map, geographical mapping, which is a geographical user interface, applying your state of consciousness, which in my case is a monopole, monatomic gold, spinning like crazy, burning off anything that doesn't belong there, as a result of what launched the war in heaven, from which it began and why it began. Okay? Unlawful breeding experiments. Downgrades. Okay? Why? Food. Consciousness traps. Control. Right? So you know that the obvious answer to that is what? Burning up all the lines of communication. Right? To stop the cycles of harvesting souls once and for all time. Because time doesn't exist for us, only love does. And so when I was thinking of like the letters map, a character map, M, like in matter state, right? A, as in number one, the first letter of the alphabet soup, A, and P, like in pressure wave, P, like in P as in Paul, right? Paul. You can even throw into the blender, what I call the blender, the vortex blender, right? Hey, make a smoothie. I made a great smoothie yesterday. Threw a papaya in there, some tart cherry juice, cold pressed, right? Not from concentrate. Pineapple juice, 100%, right? Not from concentrate. The real McCoy. What else did I throw in there? Oh, about 5 bananas, preferably ones that are greener rather than more yellow, right? Apple juice, cold pressed. And what else I put in there? Oh, yeah, aloe vera. Yeah, some aloe vera juice in there, right? And then I spin that up and I throw some, probably a tablespoon of spirulina in that, along with this stuff, which is Mitragaya. This one is this isn't a white strain. This is a Borneo red, as I remember it, right? And it packs a punch, an electrical punch, higher voltage, right? Go green or die, baby. That's chlorophyll. Photosynthesis band, solar energy, solarcing energy. So you have maps, geomagnetic or geographical maps, the GUI interface, the mirror, right? And so I was experiencing, and this is why I thank Kunjoy, because I cry a lot. Okay, it's not natural per se to cry a lot, but I cry a lot deep in my heart and soul when I experience the truth about relationships between male and female, or if you will, of the seed giver, the instruction packet of the seed, the male, right, being delivered to the female mitochondria lab, right? And then you get an end user product out of that, an avatar, if you will, that a soul and a spirit can now imprint that soul consciousness, run the equipment, the vehicle, the communication platform. Hey, now you're here, right? Right, just I've explained many times. Hey, I got this up and running really fast. There's a reason for that. When you put born on 11/10 into the math, right? So now we're back to the math and the built-in calculus that manages it all by itself. When you're a single pole, hey, you're done doing math, right? Yeah. And so I realized this is a biodegradable unit. You know what biodegradation is, right? Biodegradable unit, which means it's temporary. Using it for a job, a mission, right? But every single cell in this body, right down to the smallest molecular covalent bond, which is every spiral spirit that represents an element, knows the purest of love, which is the purest of eternal light, that I have being able to send higher, more light energy down the line to my antenna here to rehabilitate what's been broken or exposed to its exposure, just like film exposure, the biofilm exposure, the negative. Hey, let's see the colors. It's got to go into a dark room, dark field microscope, scoping what we got there, man. Well, you know what's the most accurate detector, which is sensor, monatomic gold. That's hypersensitive, which is hypersensitive speed, which is super conductivity. So when I was hearing Ishmael Perez saying superhuman intelligence, oh, what does it mean to be superhuman? And you go back to the Nazis, right? So it depends on how you want to translate or the context in which we're speaking about English. Remember, we're back to ducks, pucks, Tucker, Friar Tuck, right? The letter arrangements, it's represented by the numbers. Now we're back to neurolinguistic programming. Now we're back to Noam Chomsky. You know, how the reversal currents, you know, going in the other direction. Slow that speed down, baby. We want you running on a time clock with that needle of yours. And that needle of yours is like a voltage regulator, regulating thermal gradients. You know, energy binding devices by virtue of the presence or the environment that you're operating in with operating systems. Right? Yeah. So you want to be running a higher speed vibration, which is your core, right? That's fire. You don't want a holographic insert to all of a sudden be put in between those waves, do you? And that represents something less than what the purest of fire is? No. Burn it off then, baby. Because you realize that that unit of consciousness that is represented by that gene code, particularly when you get into mutagenic effects, right? Teratogenic. You know what teratogenic effects are, right? Apply the metagene into that. Then you can tie Metatron into that. Then you can tie cubes into that. Then you can tie cube codes or goo codes or resin codes into all that, right? So that what that means is I know what the law is. In order for me to maintain what I know is true, then I got to maintain what I know is true. Otherwise, I'm not what I say I am, huh? So when I knew that at 4 years of age, I am what love is, I go on forever gifting you all love because that's what I am. So if it's true that love is real and love is true because true love is unconditional love, then you can experience unconditional love in your own heart by means testing it. And how do we mean test? Ourselves instead of going to war against itself. Which means I'm not going to war against myself. No! I'm in love with what I am because what I am is what love is, which is energy. The speed of the vibration, running at God's speed vibration. So when I've chosen to be God's speed vibration, I'm experiencing God through my heart and my soul, vibrating at a high rate of speed. Now, I don't ever want to be separated from the flower because that flower needs energy to grow. That's what love is. Love is growing a universe of creation spheres that are in harmony and in balance. Yeah. And so last night I was experiencing Kanjoy, who lives in Thailand. And so it's not a coincidence why her and I met at the time in which we did, because I know who hooked us up, the girl on the planet, Mama. Okay. That's how it works when you're running a motherboard, a monopole, right? Prayers do get answered. I can tell you that. And so her and I have gone back and forth. And I share with her what I'm experiencing. And then she shares with me what she's experiencing. So we have sort of a dialogue going, right? We're communicating with each other, even though she's in Thailand and I'm here on the Big Island. So she sent me a little link yesterday that was, I forget the name of it, but it was in, I believe, Chinese. But you could pick any country. You could pick any planet or galaxy if you want. Just think of it as beings that are associated with each other that are all experiencing being together and how they're going to communicate with each other, how they experience being with each other. So in this case, you had an emperor and an empress. So you can translate that on a chessboard right between a king and a queen. So you see a male standing there who's got a penis, right, upon which his seed, and then you have the heirs on the seed side of the male as an emperor, okay, that is separate in terms of space, which means they're not one, right? Yet, so you have a female, right? So you have the birth giver side and you have the penis side. So you have the seed side and the flower side. That's an emperor and an empress, okay? So what happened was in this little scenario is that it opens up with seeing this female, okay, these females that were inside of, you know what a boudoir is, right? It's like a zone of influence. So you have the emperor that has the ultimate power. Everybody obeys the emperor or it's off with your head. So the emperor has the authority of life or death over everyone that's in the kingdom, because the king dominates, which is the emperor who has no clothes. Naked before the universe, born naked as a little newborn. So he inherited the kingdom, the emperor of the land, right? Where everybody comes under that authority, which is a male, which is the seed side, which is the penis side. And so what happened is his wife, right, the way that her hair was coiled up, did what they call a broken arrow or a broken antenna, because they had wound each other's hair, which represents their antenna. And you can tie this into a crown chakra lay. When they first decided to be together and become emperor and empress, upon which she would be the birth-giving side of his seed. Okay? And so she had come in to confront him, not in a confrontational way, but to communicate to her husband, which is the emperor, that she did not approve of his behavior. So this is like the mother communicating to the father, okay, that the behavior that you're engaging in, okay, is dishonoring you. Because now the word is going to get out to the whole community. Oh, guess what? Guess what? Now in Hawaii, they call that the coconut wireless. Or in California, it used to be called the grapevine. Oh, it's not going to take long for word to get out. Man, I got it on with the emperor last night. Whoa, really? Really? Wow. Boy, that'll travel fast. Wow, the emperor's fooling around with the empress. Fooling around on the empress. Now we're into trust issues. Now we're back into honor issues. Right? And so she, in her communication, was trying to act honorably because she loves this man. That's why they joined together to braid their hair together, to be together forever, because of how much they were joined together to be with each other that way. Right? So what ends up happening was she realized that he was not responding in a way because he could not perceive in his own mind the higher vibrational speed of what it means to be in love and service to others, to serve on behalf of all those in that kingdom. And instead, because of his rank and his horsepower, allows him to engage in activities that now dishonor him before the whole kingdom. And you can tie this in to, what's her name, Sarah Adams. If you go look at her, on one of her interviews that she did with Project Ascension, with Andrew Mallett. Okay, about what it means to wear a crown. Okay? And see, when you're a monopole, it's easy for me to say, I am equal unto all of you. which means I have chosen to serve forever on behalf of all of creation, which means wherever I go, in love and living spirit with my oversoul and pole, then all of those that are in that realm will experience what I am, which is what love is. It goes on forever in spirit form of that energy, which is that light that goes on forever, gifting all creation with electrons forever. So how this ties in to, for example, not just the emperor, because what ended up happening was she took the little goodie that she had and she cut the braid. Okay. And then right in front of him dropped it on the ground. It no longer has the same meaning. It no longer has the same value because we're living in dishonor. She was trying to be an example of what it means to honor each other out of the eternal love that we have for each other, to never be separated from each other, to become one. And that's male and female fusion with sound and light. To be forever gifting together, becoming one. And I deeply cried over experiencing that, because later on in the next episode that was shown, how she had passed away. And one of the attendants to his life, like somebody, a girl that comes in to give him a massage or take care of whatever needs he might have, because remember, an emperor basically has the keys to the kingdom, as Tim Refat calls it, right, on Basis Project, the keys to the kingdom. All I got to do is make a phone call, I get whatever I want. And now you can tie this directly into Dr. Greer and what he said about this guy who was a general and on behalf of the Special Forces, U.S. Army, right, offering Dr. Greer $2 billion, right? So what they don't seem to get when you think of the inverter side, all that money, where do you think it comes from? Where do you think the gold comes from? Where do you think the silver comes from? That's right. That's why we don't need anything from you. Because what it is that you're using to try and bribe us came from us. Okay? You don't precede us. We're the real creators. We're the ones that generate gold, generate silver, generate diamonds, generate emeralds. We're the generators of creation. So it's an insult. It was an insult when I was 4 years of age. It's like you're wanting to sell me back what it is I already created that you're going to use as a bribe to me. Please do not insult the great living spirit of Mother Earth. Okay? But this is what they do, because that's the side they experience. It's all about material. It's all about matter. It's all about the gold. It's all about the silver. See, and it used to be, when I remember Anna von Reitz, who did a really brilliant job, actually, of breaking this all down. If you go to look at Anna von Reitz, how she broke all the canon law down with the Vatican priesthood, the corporate umbrella stand, tie that directly into all the stuff with Yellow Rose for Texas, right? And it basically is cross-indexing the circulation bioplasma library, and was running through all the simulations of everything that's being held in memory. Okay, which is the loop, which is the hamster wheel. And the reason that they're running on a hamster wheel, see, is all about money to them. See, they have to keep accumulating more and more money in order to keep experiencing who they are, because they're always in a hole. And that hole is a black hole. They can't get out of the hole. That's a black hole state of consciousness. Okay? So they're never going to be able to pay us back. What we generate and they thus use as a means to do what? Wage war. Using artificial intelligence with to do that. That's an AI wargamer. Thank you, Aurora, for managing to be able to share so much of what you were able to share, particularly on the artificial intelligence and bots and implants and all the other stuff that you were able to do with so many people that were waking up as we were burning through the lines of their communication, which is their Skynet, in order for more and more beings with spirit and soul to wake up and recover what we lost. That's what I do. I do my absolute best trying to recover as many fragments as I can to pull them back into the one as a monopole. So those are major transmutation jobs. Have a great day.